battle by the lakeshore, more commonly known as the Fishfeed by the small folk of Westeros, was fought along the shores of the God's Eye in the Riverlands during the bloody Targaryen civil war known as the Dance of the Dragons in 130 AC. It would be remembered in the histories as the single bloodiest battle to happen during the war, thus how it gained its more common name, the Fishfeed, as the fish of the God's Eye surely feasted heartily in the aftermath of the battle. During the Dance of the Dragons, House Lannister of the Westerlands was counted as one of the largest supporters of the Greens, and King Aegon II was House Stark of the North had sworn their support to the Blacks and Queen Rhaenyra. The disjointed lords of the Riverlands had also largely given their support to the Queen's cause, though their infighting made their alliances fractious at best. Lord Jason Lannister, the Lord of Casterly Rock, led an army eastwards out of the Westlands in support of Aegon II, aiming to join Prince Aemon and Sir Criston Cole at Harrenhal, but Jason was killed on the march by Pate of Longleaf in a battle at the Red Fork, and the second in command, Sir Adrian Tarback, who took leadership of the army after the death of Jason, was again later killed by Sir Henry Penny in another minor skirmish. The Lannister army continued slowly, reportedly because of the age and infirmity of its wounded new commander, Lord Humphrey Lefford. As he resumed their march, little did Lord Lefford suspect that he would soon face a much stiffer test, for an army of fresh foes was descending on them from the north, 2,000 savage Northmen, flying Queen Rhaenyra's quartered banner. When the Westermen did eventually reach the western shore of the God's Eye, Lord Lefford discovered he was opposed by the new and fresh northern army. At their head rode the Lord of Barrington, Roderick Dustin, a warrior so old and hoary, men called him Roddy the Ruin. His host was made up of grizzled greybeards in old mail and ragged skins, every man a seasoned warrior, and every man a horse. The Northmen were joined by Lord Forrest Frey with 200 mounted knights and at least 600 infantrymen, and Rob Rivers with 300 of House Blackwood's highly skilled archers from Raventree Hall. The tired and depleted Westermen were quickly faced with another threat coming in from the south, when Lord Pate of Longleaf arrived with a band of ragged survivors from the previous battles in the war, whom had accosted the Lannister host as they made their way across the Riverlands, as well as Lord Biggleston, Chambers and Perrin, and their own levies. With all further routes of escape cut off, the cautious left attempted to send ravens to the nearby Harrenhal in the hopes of seeking assistance from Prince Aemon Targaryen and his dragon, Vhagar, who would surely have made quick work of the Black supporting forces. But all the ravens were shot down, dozens at a time, with not a single one making its way to Harrenhal. The Blacks received further reinforcement with the arrival of more river lords the following day, including Sir Garibald Grey, Lord John Charlton, and the young Lord of Raventree Hall, the infamous Lord Benji Cott Blackwood, who had forged his name in history books during the Dance of the Dragons. The army of Westermen were attacked as the dawn sun rose the next morning, as a light mist covered the battlefield, giving the area an unsettling atmosphere, but one perfect to symbolize the massacre that was to come. The Winter Wolves were made up mostly of older men and unwanted sons who had left the north in order to take the burden off their families as winter took hold, giving them one less mouth to feed. Given this desire to die gloriously in battle, the Winter Wolves, led by Lord Dustin himself, led the attack as the vanguard, charging the Lannister spearmen a total of 5 times, as the Rivermen and the men under the command of Pate of Longleaf joined the attack. On the 5th and final charge, the Westermen found themselves surrounded by the Blacks on all 3 sides, and the cold waters of the God's Eye to their back. As their lines began to falter, the Lannister soldiers were forced further and further back until the men in reserve at the back of the Westermen's lines began to fall into the waters of the God's Eye. The water was deep and cold, the mud so thick men found themselves stuck, unable to move. Hundreds died fighting amongst the lake's reeds, and hundreds of others drowned whilst trying to escape by swimming across to the eastern shore. Always a futile effort for most in the best condition, but on that cold morning, tired with many wounded, you could say some found the idea of drowning more of a comfort than riddled with arrows whilst stuck in the shallows. Any who did manage to struggle their way into the deeper water found the weight of their armour dragged them down into the murky depths. If anyone did manage to reach the eastern shore, the histories do not recall. In total, it is estimated that at least 2,000 soldiers were killed in the battle by the lakeshore, making it the single bloodiest land battle in the whole of the Dance of the Dragons. There were many lords among the dead as well. On both sides of the battle, the Blacks lost Lord Frey, Biggleston and Charlton, and 2/3 of the Winter Wolves were killed or wounded. Their commander, Lord Dustin, was not among them. The Greens lost their commander, Lord Lefford, as well as Lords Swift and Rain, and the knights Clarence Crackhaw and Amory Hill. It is said that the young Lord Benjicott Blackwood, a boy of 13, wept when he saw all of the dead. Even some of the more hardened battle commanders seemed to be shocked by the sheer amount of dead before them. The Lannisters' main army was totally destroyed in the battle, the flower of knighthood from all of the Westerlands cut down in a single day, with only a skeleton force left to defend the Westerlands, their home territory. Dalton Greyjoy, the Lord Reaper of Pike, opportunistically allied himself with Rhaenyra Targaryen so the Ironborn could plunder the coast of the Westerlands, sacking Lannisport, but failing to take Castle Rock itself due to its strong defences. The Fishfeed effectively took the Westerlands and House Lannister out of the war. However, despite their disproportionate victory, the Black's armies in the Riverlands were also badly mauled in the bloodbath, and given the pace of the war, the Lords of the Riverlands did not have time to replenish and rest their men for the coming battles. In response to the Greens' crushing defeat, Prince Aemon and Sir Criston Cole abandoned Harrenhal, with Aemon waging a guerrilla war atop Vhagar and Criston Cole heading south to find Lord Ormond Hightower and join their forces. The victorious Rivermen avoided facing Criston Cole directly, but wore him down with ambushes and scorched earth tactics, which included arranging the bloated and rotting bodies of the fallen soldiers from the Fishfeed in gruesome displays to frighten Cole's host, causing many to desert.